Raunak.
Hi, Manu.
How are you, Raunak?
Good. Thanks for having me on your show.
No, it's a great honor for the Daily Brunch, the viewers and the readers, to have a man like you who's so much into hospitality and food. So we're back on the food track. Introduce you to the people. This gentleman is Mr. Raunak Kundu. He is the founder of the Bangalore Foodies Club on Facebook, which is almost going to hit 2 lakhs this anytime. And more importantly, he is also known as the secret sauce behind restaurants, for which he's also been awarded by the Indian Restaurant Congress at the Ritz-Carlton last year before the COVID hit as the best mentor. So it's an honor to have you, Raunak, on the show.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
Let's start like always with the big people. You are from Calcutta, you were young, and then what made you move to Bangalore?
So, like anybody in the late 1990s, Bangalore was big on IT. And as you can remember, in 1990s, there was hardly any jobs, there was hardly any progress. It was in the eastern part of India.
Absolutely.
So I joined the IT bandwagon, and that's how I landed up in Bangalore.
Bangalore, okay.
And since then, Bangalore has been my karma bhumi, as I say, but my janma bhumi remains Kolkata.
Kolkata, okay. Now, so Raunak comes to Bangalore with like a lot of other people and gets into the IT industry, correct me if I'm wrong, in the marketing and sales division of IT company. You'll have to take us from there.
Yeah, yes. Slowly, of course, I played diverse roles within the IT industry.
Okay.
But my focus, and especially towards last few years, has been sales and marketing. Okay. That's my core area of strength.
Okay. Now, for the readers, the interesting part of Raunak as being in the IT industry, in the sales and marketing, has taken him to over 12 countries. Which includes a lot of Europe, a lot of Italy, a lot of France, a lot of London. So you'll have to just brief us on your life abroad there as a IT marketing guy or whatever, your life.
Yeah, there. so this must be a very common story for most Bangaloreans. Okay. This is nothing sensational. So every one of us are well traveled in Bangalore, who are especially in the IT industry.
Okay.
So I have lived in many countries. My last stint was in Switzerland. I stayed there for nearly 5 years, okay. Which I can say is one of the most beautiful countries of the world.
Wow. Okay.
And prior to that, I have lived. I had a 1.5 year stint in London.
Mm-hmm.
And I have traveled extensively in Europe. Especially Spain and Italy are our favorite destination, me and my wife. So we have traveled extensively.
Okay.
In the early part of my career, I have been to US and Canada, but I have not traveled that much in US and Canada. I've just been there a couple of times.
Okay.
And I lived 1 year in a very exciting place called Japan, in Tokyo.
That's very interesting. That is really interesting. Yes. Just a brief line on the Tokyo part, because see, generally our readers are wondering, so you're a big guy in food, number one, and you are in Japan. So tell us all about that and a little bit of the food, if that just to bring you into the food.
It's nothing like what we imagine. Of course, it's very different, both in terms of culturally, food, language. There is no similarity, and the Indian diaspora is also very small, as you can imagine. The Indian diaspora, unlike in US or in Europe, you would feel at home actually with so many Indian stores, Indian restaurants, Indian people all around you. You feel like you are almost in India.
Okay.
But in Japan, it's very different. First of all, they don't speak English. Their food and culturally, they're very different.
Mm-hmm.
They have very, very meticulous in their approach. So they are like they if everything in their life, including their domestic course, work in processes, and they don't deviate from processes.
Okay.
So it's a very interesting experience. I was living in downtown Tokyo, but in a very tiny apartment, very, very tiny apartment. We can't even in my bachelor days, I wouldn't have stayed in such an apartment.
Because in Japan, I think I've only read about it and seen space is king. You know, it's all about
Yes,
space.
yes. And I was in downtown Tokyo. So you can imagine I was staying in one of the most expensive real estate places across the world, maybe more than New York even, more than New York even.
Okay.
And in terms of food, it has a great diversity, and it really opens you up to a new culture, to a new inspiration every day. So in terms of food culture, it's a very, very diverse country. What I can tell you means they do have a lot of foreign cuisine as well,
Okay.
but their own local cuisine, it's very dynamic, very elaborate. It's sensational in one way, because all the things that we talk about in modern plating, modern food, about taste, texture, presentation, fresh ingredients, everything that all the celebrity chefs would like to have in a plate, are those things that are there in Japan for years and years. So you can means if French cuisine is we always chefs would take pride in when they know about French food and French cuisines, and French people we know have big pride in their culinary history.
Yeah.
But Japan is no less, and we have only, I think, explored the tip of the iceberg in terms of Japanese cuisine to the rest of the world. Of course, it's opening up now. Japanese chefs are now traveling all over the world.
Okay.
So after Japan, I was in Switzerland. After
Mhm.
Japan, I was in Switzerland, but I came back immediately just before the corona hit, and then I had other plans. But of course, last couple of years, I'm very much in Bangalore, and with my family. I have twin daughters, so
Okay.
raising them up is quite a bit of a task.
So now I'll take you a little back. I think about 2013 when the Bangalore, by the way, Raunak is the founder of the Bangalore Foodies Club. For all the social media fans and Daily Brunch fans, he's got close to 200,000 people on the site. So how did it all start? Because that happened about 2013 October, if I'm right.
Yes, yes. About Bangalore Foodies Club, it was not a very planned thing.
Okay.
We wanted to have a small group of people, like-minded people, who would go out and dine in interesting restaurants, and share their experiences.
Okay.
That's how it started. It was a handful of people initially, and I must admit that the initial impetus was given because of a very unfortunate incident, actually. There was another group called Foodies in Bangalore.
Okay.
That time. It was around 8,000 or 10,000 people. And the founder of that group, his name is Mayur Chanagire.
Okay.
He was diagnosed of cancer. He was my age, and it was very unfortunate that he had moved to US for treatment. Subsequently, he passed away at a very, very young age.
Okay.
But he officially announced in his group that please join Bangalore Foodies Club, because I wouldn't be running this group anymore. I would be shutting it. So Foodies in Bangalore, they announced that we will be shutting it in a while. He didn't tell about his illness or anything of that kind, and that he is moving to the US and for treatment and all that. But he said that if you want to have a similar experience, and if you want to discuss and talk about your culinary journeys, please join Bangalore Foodies Club.
Okay.
So what happened is, we were a few hundred, And initially, and then there was a sudden impetus. A few thousand people joined our group. And from then we had no looking back.
Okay.
So from then we grew from strength to strength. Of course, now there are multiple food groups, both in Bangalore and rest of South India. But we are kind of numero uno in terms of we were one of the first, and in terms of our content and engagement level, like at any point of time, there is 120,000 people who are live in our group. So which is quite a unique thing.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
At any point in time, just to give you some statistics,
Correct.
At any point in time, there would be at least 150 posts a day. Some of our popular posts garner around 40,000 to 50,000 engagement.
Excellent.
So these numbers are quite startling, okay, for even for brands, okay.
Yeah.
So now, since last year, what we have done is that we have slowly moved our focus from being a Facebook-oriented group.
Okay.
Of course, we used to do a lot of offline events pre-corona. We have now focusing more on Instagram, where we have around 8,000 people now. We have created around 10 WhatsApp groups.
Okay.
And we have also now diversifying into some of the new social media channels which are emerging.
Okay, it's interesting because, like you said, at any point of time. By the way, I'm also a Bangalore Foodies Club member. I was very interested in the way the posting and the what do you call the communication between the people, members in the community. It's very active.
Yes.
But like you said, it's pretty startling for any brand or a restaurant outside to think that a post on Bangalore's Foodies Club has got so much of people watching at one shot. So it's very simple for any brand or a restaurant or online platforms which have grown so big due to the COVID. I would take a typical example of the readers, the Daily Branch readers, is that like fresh to home. You want to buy fish, it's fresh to home. And I came across a interview between you and the fresh to home owner on Bangalore Foodies Club. So for him, he's kind of addressing about 2 lakh people at one shot. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yes, yes. So what we have done over the years is that we have right now we have structured it a little bit more over the years. There is a holding company which runs all the food groups. I have also a food group in Kolkata Foodies Club, which is around 20,000 people.
Wow.
Delhi Foodies Club, which is around 10,000 people.
Okay.
Mumbai and Hyderabad, which are 2,000 people each. I also, as you may know, that I also run this group for restaurant owners and Horeca segment called Secret Sauce Behind a Successful Restaurant.
Yes.
So
I would call you Raunak Secret Sauce Kundu. That's that's how I call you.
It's a very, very thriving group in terms of business community, for the business community, especially for those who are interested in the restaurant business. So together there are around 7 or 8 such large groups. Along with that, so there is now I have professionally I have started managing these groups.
Okay.
So we have a creative person, we have content editors, we have campaign managers. So we work with brands who wants to tell their story into this, whether it's B2B side or whether it's B2C side.
Okay.
So we have structured it in a very, very, what should I say, very, very channelized way over the years.
Okay.
But a lot needs to be done more. A lot needs to be, because at any point in time, we need to moderate, as I told you, around 150 to 200 posts in one channel.
In one channel, exactly.
In one channel. Then we have WhatsApp groups. Then we have Instagram. Then we have all the other channels that I told you. Apart from that, we do events every month. It means pre-corona, we used to do twice a month events. Now we have, of course, last year we did only webinars.
Okay.
Now we are again back to doing more and more events.
Okay.
So in this format, the amount of workload is pretty huge. So we have structured it and trying to run it more professionally with more support from different people. And to be honest, I have a very experienced, I'm lucky to have a very experienced admin team along with me. Most of them are doing it voluntarily for Bangalore Foodies Club. Okay. Of course, in 2-3 years time, some of them are refreshed, some of them leave, some of them join back. Okay. But if you look at it, every day they put in around a couple of hours of their valuable time in moderating this group. Because otherwise there is a fair amount of controversies which always brews up. So we have to water down those controversies.
Yeah. So is it a right thing to say, as a brand looking at Bangalore Foodies Club and the way you're explaining things, that is, they're quite aware that they're going to be handled by a professional team of people in the social media. Not only Bangalore Foodies Club, not only your WhatsApp groups, whatever you're doing with your secret sauce behind you, and you have a team who's dedicated, because you require a team with the kind of numbers you're talking about.
Yeah, so there are two things. First thing is that, of course, we have these Bangalore Foodies Club. But apart from that, I have this digital marketing company called Blue Chisel Business Solutions, which manages a lot of brands who are primarily based in Bangalore. Okay. Like we work with Rishta Foods. You spoke about Fresh to Home.
Correct.
There are at least 20 such brands, including IT, Sealing. Means there are. Means at any point in time, we work with a large number of brands, and we manage their digital presence, we manage influencer marketing, we sometimes run contests or campaigns in Bangalore Foodies Club. But it's not that we do diverse things for the brand to ensure that they have a very good digital presence, and they are able to communicate their brand message or their brand positioning well to their target audience.
Okay. I understand your point, because you have your customer base both for the brand as well as for your members, and you come in between for the brand. The message goes directly across, digitally or whatever. I think mostly digitally now, because the brand gets to talk to the customers, and you provide the bridge. You provide the bridge.
Yes.
Now, another interesting thing what he said was about events being held, like curated menus for the Bangalore Foodie Club members. It's very interesting because first of all, you need to know the brand well. Like I was thinking about Hard Rock Cafe because I'm a big fan, not only of the whole concept. I think the music, everything adds to the flavor, and one of the best hamburgers I've ever eaten in Bangalore. And then when the Foodies Club had a curated thing, I was out of town. I really wanted to come. You have to just tell us how Hard Rock Cafe would curate a menu for the Bangalore Foodies members, with you in lead, of course.
Yeah.
As an example.
So we recently did an event at Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay.
And the amazing thing is, of course, there are two things. First is that you get to meet so many foodies, like-minded foodies. Okay. You get to interact, chat, share your notes. Then you get an amazing meal at a very discounted price. Okay. So Hard Rock Cafe did a very fantastic job in terms of setting up this table with great food, and most of which we couldn't finish it. At a value price of $9.99. Okay.
$9.99.
There was a big, and these are American sizes, you can imagine.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a full plate of starters. There is a full hamburger, the classic hamburger of Hard
Legendary
Rock
hamburger,
Cafe.
the legendary
Yeah,
hamburger.
legendary hamburger of Hard Rock Cafe, and then there is dessert. Along with that, a beer or a soft drink,
Wow.
and all this is for 999, 999,
Amazing.
all inclusive.
Hmm.
So most of and our group is largely women, and our meetups are also largely women. So
That's
most
another
of them,
interesting. It's another interesting part which I forgot to tell the reader, because for the Daily Brunch readers, we have declared this month as a Women's Month. It is not restricted to one day. We stretch it out till April 14th. So you are on. Then we had the boxer who's doing women boxers on, Dronacharya Award winner, and next coming is Asha Gomez, who's a chef in US.
right?
So you have a community of women. I'm talking about, for example, let's go back to the Hard Rock Cafe. So let's say 20 members or 30 members, of which I think you told me was about 80% of women.
Yes, yes. I would say 70 30.
Okay.
70
Please.
30. Yeah.
Okay.
70 30. Now the next event, just to give you the diversity, the next
Absolutely.
event is a completely contrast. Okay.
Okay.
We are doing it at the ISKCON temple. There is a restaurant inside it called Higher Taste.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Please.
called, it's famous for Sattvic cuisine.
Yep.
So we would be doing a temple tour.
Mm-hmm.
Then we would be meeting the authorities. They are going to show their kitchen. Their kitchen is one of the it's the biggest kitchens. And then we are going to have a talk by one of the NGO called My Thali. It's a US based NGO about balanced eating, balanced meal.
Wow. Okay.
And then we are going to have a meal. This is coming up next Sunday. So I'm just telling you that in terms of food, we have no biases.
About the
So basically, my whole point is that we try to give diverse experiences to our. We are now planning actually another meetup in a 5-star hotel, where the North Indian restaurant was shut for a while and then they have just reopened. So I'm not divulging the name right now because the discussions are still on.
Okay.
So the whole point is that we want the diners to have a diverse experience, because the culinary scape of our city, Bangalore, is very diverse, and we get. I'm personally a big fan of ethnic Indian food, like you spoke about Kerala food.
Yeah, exactly.
Similarly, I recently tasted one of the most amazing Kashmiri wazwan in Bangalore. I'm a big fan of Naga food from then a Gujarati thali. Then we recently have a new Bihari fine dining restaurant in Raunak. So the culinary scape of our city is very diverse.
Very, yes.
And I want Bangalore Foodies Club members to experience this diversity.
It's fantastic. Yes. So again, back to the thing, when it is not very important, but the moment you hit 2 lakh members, because when you hit 1 lakh, you had a big event in the vineyard. I read about it. I think, would you have an event? Because for the readers, there's a coming event is 2 lakhs, and the coming event is another 10 years of Bangalore's Foodie Club. And Bangalore,
yes, like yes, said, we have already started planning about it.
Okay.
Hopefully, the COVID protocol will be relaxed by then. We are looking at some time in October, November to do a big event. We generally do a. Sorry.
Is it this year? This year, okay.
This year, October, November, we are planning to do a big event.
Okay.
We also do a summit. Every year we do a summit for secret sauce behind a successful restaurant.
Okay.
So that didn't happen last year because of COVID. So that also we need to organize it this year.
Okay.
So let's see. But of course, 2 lakh members will be a. But this 2 lakh members right now, it's not. This is right now not a very important milestone for me personally, because I'll tell you why. Because we are already more than 2 lakhs in terms of if you add up all our channels.
Absolutely.
So if we add up all our channels, we are already more than 2 lakhs. Of course, in the Facebook community, sometime we will cross 2 lakhs. But in terms of all our channel presence, we are already 2 lakhs.
Okay.
And all thanks to the Bangalore Foodies Club moderators and admin team, it needs a high level of moderation and administration.
What is the secret sauce behind you getting an award for mentor of South Indian restaurants? What is that secret sauce?
No, see, I will tell you about this group called Secret Sauce Behind a Successful Restaurant. It was
Exactly.
also started around 7-8 years back.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is 20,000 people strong community. Again,
Okay.
we have different WhatsApp groups
Mm-hmm.
for that as well.
Okay.
What we have seen is that if a new restaurant owner or a new supplier or a new vendor, for them, this is an amazing place to be.
Right.
Amazing place to be because of the reason that they get to connect to any business directly without any middleman. So we have calculated that every week we do around 2.5 crores of transactions happen between different parties. Okay, without
Okay.
any intermediation. We have some preferred vendors.
Mm-hmm.
We have enlisted some of the preferred vendors that for utensils you go to this person, for recruitment you go to this person, for FSSAI you go to this person. But
Okay.
as such, there is no intermediation. So
So you can always say that's the B2B platform, the vendor versus the
yes,
restaurant.
yes,
Right.
it is completely a B2B platform. It is not a consumer platform. Consumers are not allowed or discouraged. If consumers join in, we try to remove them.
Got that.
It's not because there are certain discussions which are exclusively for B2B.
Got it.
So which of course we wouldn't like to discuss about
Absolutely.
pricing, about various other things. It's not for consumers, but it's an amazing marketplace. I would
Mm-hmm.
say it's an amazing marketplace. I started this group in association with Town Essentials.
Okay.
They were leading grocery suppliers. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to work in their marketing department.
Okay.
And so I started in collaboration with Town Essentials, this platform. And so we do a summit every year.
Okay.
And you can say almost all the leading names of Bangalore culinary scape, almost everybody from the F&B industry. And Harish Bijur has been the keynote speaker for last couple of years. And Chef Abhijit Saha, Chef Manu Chandra, Chef
Himaya,
Chef Thimaya, Naren
everybody,
Thimaya,
yeah.
everybody have graced this summit.
Mm-hmm.
And we had hundreds of new restaurants which have started
Mm-hmm.
taking inspiration from secret sauce behind a successful
Okay,
restaurant.
that's an interesting part of this conversation is for the readers. I'm sure they wouldn't know. Let us say somebody who's got the wherewithal to open a restaurant in a hot city like Bangalore. He's got this passion. He's got this drive. He's got everything, but he just doesn't know what to do. I mean, I know a lot of people that way who would love to do that. So you're trying to tell me if somebody with this kind of an idea to open a restaurant, speak to Secret Sauce, they will help you out. Or like you have done in your Secret Sauce summits also, which I went through. A restaurant, of course, it has its food, it has its location, it has its decor. What the Secret Sauce provides is your all the other happening stuff. I understand. But what about somebody who wants to start a restaurant?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to give you a disclaimer. It's a very complex business to get in. it's
Absolutely.
it's it's a highly complex business. So if you are cooking a great meal at home and if you're serving it to your friends and family and they're saying, wow, you should start a restaurant, don't fall into that
Don't
trap.
readers, are
Don't
you
fall
listening
into
to
this
that?
is the
That's
disclaimer
straight
I
from
want
the
to give.
horse's mouth. That's straight from the horse's mouth. All the friends enjoy the food, cook at home. That's it. Okay, go on.
Yes,
Go on, Raunak.
it's a very complex business. It's a very complex business, and most of the first-time restaurateurs, they don't understand unit pricing. How much should we price a chicken biryani?
Okay.
Okay, just for an example, how
Yeah.
much should we price a chicken biryani? Is it the cost of chicken plus the basmati rice plus the masalas plus the ghee
Mm-hmm.
and divided by the portion size? Or is it that the next door Nagarjuna charges 350 rupees? I am not Nagarjuna. I want to be less than 20 rupees less than Nagarjuna. Then I charge 330 rupees. Or is the neighborhood auntie shop, some shop charges 180 rupees, but I am far better than auntie shop, so I charge 220 rupees. This unit economics we don't understand. Most first time restaurateurs don't understand this. So
Correct.
and that's where they after a year of running operations they say, oh no, this is not my business. So most restaurants, they start and they fail and they close.
Okay.
But so you should get some professional support. Professional support is in terms of if you come from the marketing and the front end, like service side of restaurant industry, then you manage that. If you are good in accounting, you manage that. If you're good in the kitchen, you manage that. But you also employ and engage experienced hands, experienced people, and then professional people who are good in their own areas. And then it's a very complex business, as I am telling you, like any other business which has direct customer interaction, and here it can have direct impact on their health and safety as well.
That is the yes.
So that's the reason I think the only means other than restaurant and food business, the only next complexity I can think of is in the healthcare space. That's the only other complexity.
Okay.
So complex industry. Otherwise, this is very complex. So you have to trade with caution and employ professionals. You yourself have to get involved.
Exactly. Got it. Got it.
Otherwise, if you think that you can sit at home, do your IT job and run a restaurant, then you fund somebody's business. Then if a chef has a dream to start a restaurant, you fund that chef and make the chef the part owner and you fund them. But you don't run 100% equity business, and you cannot sit at home and the restaurant would run on its own.
Got it.
So there are several nuances. So this plays secret sauce behind a successful restaurant. You can get connected to all the professionals, all the support you want in terms of real estate, in terms of staffing, in terms of utensils, in terms of menu design, marketing, everything. All the professionals are in this group. You can come, discuss, meet those people in person, and then try to decide what suits you best.
Okay. Now, since you have demarcated that in the sense that you might have a dream of a restaurant, but think twice. The other side of the person, which actually COVID kicked up huge time in my part of the city, that is Coxtown and Bangalore, Manuswadi, this Fraser Town, this area, are the home chefs of women who are just spending their life cooking up. That's then, I mean, there are people with jobs, without jobs, but the COVID ensured that they were all at home. And for your information, here itself, there are about 8 to 10 WhatsApp groups of women cooking, putting on the group, people buying, end of the day, sale is over. So
yeah, that's fabulous. Actually, I salute to all the home chefs and salute to all the people who actually, during the COVID times, even in our apartment complex, there are apps where people would cook something at home and then they put it on the app and they said, today I have got theplas.
Okay.
Today I have got avial. Today I have got Rajasthani jungli mas.
Oh.
Like that, they would put that up. So I love to order from the home chefs. The only caution here is that there are two things. First of all, go compliant. FSSAI is now
Yes,
registering home chefs. So be compliant with the authorities. Any commercial kitchen has to be registered. Okay.
absolutely.
So FSSAI do the FSSAI, it costs you hardly anything to
Mhm,
be FSSAI compliant.
mhm.
Second thing is that till the time you are running it from your home kitchen,
Yeah.
the unit economics will run.
Okay.
If you're moving to a commercial kitchen
Mm.
and employing staff, ensure that you have the abilities to scale up, means abilities to scale up in terms of time, effort, financials, everything. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's the reason a lot of home chefs, I tell them, okay, you're doing it at home. That's absolutely fine. Continue doing that. If you are making 20,000, 50,000 rupees a month, that's amazing. Don't think of making
Exactly.
5 lakh rupees a month, because
Exactly.
that's a completely different business. That is industrialization.
Exactly.
It's
That's what I wanted.
industrialization is,
That's what I wanted to
yeah,
so-called differentiate. It's very, very
yes.
clear two paths.
Yes, yes. Industrial, most of the, means with all due respect to our wives, moms, and even I cook at home. So it's not that men don't cook.
Mhm.
So,
I agree with you on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, we, most of us have not worked in a professional range. We don't know how industrial cooking is supposed to be. So we don't know portion sizes, how to manage food costing. As I told you, that it's a complex business.
Complex. Yeah.
So please stick to your cooking at home, be compliant, do deliveries through channel partners.
Channel partners.
Mm,
Yes.
and that's how there are a lot of startups coming up these days who have payment gateways, direct payment gateways. Because
Mhm.
if Google Pay or any of the payment apps is cumbersome, use any of these startups,
Mhm.
and you can collect the payment. You can list your menu, can change it every day. You can shut your means your home chef business for 2 weeks, go to Goa, have your holiday, come back
That's
and restart
another
it again.
that's another key vital point with the home chefs in this part of town. You can actually shut shop
Yes, yes,
and tell everybody
absolutely.
you're shutting shop, and they're okay.
Yes. So when you run a commercial kitchen,
Mhm.
you cannot do that.
You can't do that.
You cannot do that. The rents are running, the water bill is ticking, the salaries are ticking, everything. So that's the reason I'm telling, that's a completely different business.
Mhm.
It's, and cooking up a good meal at home is completely different business.
Different.
So
Okay.
it's let's not mix that.
I remember you heading out with your team into a place called At. It's that is because of COVID, you can't go there, but all the big brands in one mall.
Yes, it's called Kitchen Sat.
Kitchens At.
It's
Okay.
yes, it is at different locations across Bangalore.
Okay.
And it is a fabulous place. It's like a food court. It's not you cannot sit and eat. Of course, there are some small tables and chairs as well, but
Hmm.
almost all the big brands, whether it's Dindigal Biryani, Empire, Smooth Chocolates,
Hmm.
there is a new brand coming in called Chicken. So
Chicken.
a lot of them are there at one place. So you can pick up kebab from one place, biryani from another place, and sweet dish from the third place. And
Hmm.
especially if you have a party at home, that's wonderful.
That's
So yeah, and they're open till late in the evening, late in the night actually. So it
okay.
can be pre-party or post-party. You can plan to pick up.
This thing called food tourism. I think you have mentioned in one of your seminars or in your news reports or something
Yes.
about food tourism and grub sante, like your art festivals. So, what is the future of having a space someday like Singapore or something where people tend to come and sit down and pick out from all these brands you're talking about instead of just
Yes, so slowly it is happening. I think there are a lot of food walks in the city.
okay,
Like Baswangudi, for that matter, is culturally it is very it has
yes,
a rich history,
yes,
and it's a great place to try out what I call it, like the South Karnataka uh, Udupi style authentic vegetarian food,
okay,
Kannadiga food,
okay,
Karnataka food. That's there are some fabulous, of course, Vidyarthi Bhavan and Brahmin's Cafe and all those places are there. NMH.
Mhm.
I studied over there and I lived a long time in Basanguti, so I have a strong connection with that place. But
Okay.
of course, Food Street, I feel that over the years have changed its character.
Exactly.
Yeah, Food Street now, if you see, there is all this Chinese food and all these roti, sabzi, and all the North Indian dishes or the Chinese dishes have taken over
Or
the traditional South Indian dishes that we used to get.
correct.
Of course, there is a mix of that, of both of that. Um, but what would be interesting going forward in Bangalore is that how we can um, showcase all these different cuisines that like as I was telling that there is some fabulous Naga restaurants in the city.
Yes.
Similarly, there is some fabulous Kashmiri restaurant. So how we can bring all these small niche ethnic cuisine
Mhm.
in one place. I think getting to one place would be difficult. Maybe I'm planning to do a food festival or something
Mhm.
and showcase their food, showcase their rich tradition.
Mhm.
So it is up for everyone to plan something and do something about it.
Mhm.
But yes, the diversity of Bangalore food scene is
Yes.
simply
Yeah.
amazing, simply
Amazing.
amazing. I
Okay.
also must add that one thing is that Indian ethnic food, also in terms of Western food,
Mm.
so like European food or say Far Eastern food, there is a whole lot of choices today in Bangalore as well. So
Since hotels are opening up and people are tending to go, how do you see the future of Bangalore food places, iconic places open up more, new places open up more, people tend to go. Is it very important now or is it that's a question.
see, unfortunately, last year was a it was an inflection point for the industry. So a lot of small restaurants and the small eating joints have closed, permanently shut shop. Uh, Partly because of lack of customers, partly also because of lack of staff, lack of experienced hands. Because there was an exodus of people at one
Express.
point in time.
Yes.
So right now, how I see the restaurant space, first is that if you take today's where we stand today, March 2021, what I see is that the breweries or open air restaurants are doing
Mhm.
fabulous.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
so all the like in JP Nagar, we have a large number of breweries
Correct.
and also rooftop restaurants, rooftop bars.
Mhm.
Any place which has an open air space,
Open. Yeah.
portico,
Okay.
they're doing fabulous in terms of they're doing 100% of pre-COVID revenue, or some are doing 120% of pre-COVID revenue.
Okay.
What is a problem? What still remains a problem is the mid-size restaurants
Mhm.
and restaurants in star hotels are also suffering because there are not enough diners, travelers. So that segment is still suffering.
Mhm.
Uh, but one thing has become very essential that you have to have a very strong story, a strong
Exactly.
product.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I was there in a Far Eastern restaurant in Indranagar, and you won't believe at 2:30 in the afternoon, it's almost 100+ seater restaurant. It was packed to the hill.
Wow.
So so people are going, and it's an expensive restaurant. It's
Mhm.
a meal for two is around 2,000 rupees.
Okay.
So it's an expensive Far Eastern restaurant. I can name that restaurant called Lucky Chan.
Okay.
Uh, it 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 was the food is very good. They have a conveyor belt sushi, so it has an interesting story to tell. It has an
There's a
interesting
story to
offering.
tell. Got it. Got it.
It's an interesting offering. Like I was talking of the Kashmiri restaurant called Sarposh.
All the Waswan food. I remember the posting in Bangalore
Yeah.
Foodies Club.
Yes, it has an amazing story to tell.
Mhm.
Similarly, there is a new restaurant, Cambodian restaurant called Khmer Kitchen in JP Nagar. It's a beautiful restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant. The interiors are fabulous. Means I have not seen such interiors in entire Bangalore. Their food is not very authentic Cambodian, but it's very decent.
I
It's very
think
nice.
for readers, it is Girish Karnad's home.
Yes. It
That's
is
the beauty
Girish
of the
Karnad's
house.
home.
Yeah, there's a story
Yes,
to tell.
it is a beautiful house. It's a beautiful house. But it's done also very nicely.
Mm.
It's also done very nicely. So see, such restaurants, such stories, such offerings has a market for it.
Okay.
That's what I want to say. But if you want to make dal makhani and paneer butter masala and naan, unless you are the Queens, I don't know if you remember, there used to be a restaurant called Queens in Church Street.
Church Street. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. It was a hole in the wall kind of a restaurant.
Lovely restaurant.
Yes. And they used to serve these food, this paneer, this traditional North Indian dishes.
Yes.
Unless you are Queens, unless you are Tandoor,
got it.
You don't have a place for yourself.
Absolutely.
Similarly, there is a huge, for the Malayali community, there is a. I don't know if you have visited this part of town called Suddagunte Palya, SG Palya, Christ School Road, just behind Christ College.
Behind Christ College. Go on.
Behind Christ College. So there is a church. There is a church, and every Sunday there is a market where people bring all the produce from Kerala. So I have not been there. Means post-COVID. Means I am talking of pre-COVID. I have not.
But still, it's
because you get those bananas and those yams and those red rice directly from Kerala.
Oh, wow.
I wish they would have got Karimin also with them.
I like that.
So there is a market for it, and there are so many nice restaurants, small restaurants where you can have amazing Malayali food over there.
Okay.
Similarly, there is a new shop which is opened in Outer Ring Road for Bengali food called Sussadu.
Okay.
They are selling authentic Bengali stuff directly flown in from Kolkata. There is near CMH Road, there is a wonderful Mangalore store in Indranagar. Wow. They get all their lotus stems and all those Mangalore pickles, everything directly sourced from Mangalore. So when you have such offerings, COVID, no COVID, people will always throng your place.
A strong offering with a story is what Raunak is telling the readers. Yes. I hope you guys, you heard it from the man's mouth, so you don't have to have any doubts about it. And I think we are coming to the close of, busy man. And it's great to have you with us, Raunak.
Thank you, Manu. Thanks. It was nice conversing with you.
Okay, thanks.
Nice conversing. And it's always a pleasure to talk about Bangalore foodscape.
Okay.
And culinary scape, as I call. And hopefully our restaurant industry and the F&B industry will be able to flourish post-COVID, and once the vaccination drive is completed, we will get back to those rosy days what it used to be.
This is what I'm also looking forward to, and the Daily Brunch is your platform from now on, and let's get together and let the secret sauce get saucier and saucier. Thank you very much.
The Daily Brunch readers and subscribers all the best.
Thank you.